violence, greed, and fraud. All of these are consequences of the Pokémon trading card hype of recent years. The Pokémon trading card game, which for many years was a harmless hobby, has now become incredibly frustrating. Over the last 6 years, the purpose of the trading card game has much changed. While the actual purpose is collecting, trading, and battling with the cards, nowadays large stocks are often bought up by scalpers who hope to resell the cards at significantly higher prices. This in turn leads to scarcity, which can then drive up card prices. This has become a major frustration for Pokémon fans, since many card sets sell out immediately. The origin of all this was 2020. 6 years ago, interest in Pokémon cards increased drastically. This huge interest in making money off of Pokémon cards became a major social media hype back then. Influencers with big audiences such as Logan Paul or XQC opened old and valuable booster packs in front of sometimes hundreds of thousands of viewers, hoping to pull extremely valuable cards. Even 25-year-old booster boxes from the early days of the trading card game were opened. Boxes worth enormous amounts of money, purely to generate profit. Online, the whole thing became a spectacle, in which many influencers and their audiences participated in. As a result, interest in the trading card game exploded. But for many people, it was never about actually playing the game or collecting the cards. It was only about making quick profits. Many remaining stocks of older sets were bought up for large sums of money, and of course also new sets that had only just been released. And you know how it works. When demand suddenly increases and everything gets bought up immediately, prices rise drastically. It's important to remember that the core target audience is children. Children have relatively little money and are therefore nowadays being excluded from this hobby entirely. And even for those who play the game competitively, this can be unpleasant since meta-relevant cards become harder to obtain and therefore more expensive. The trading card game was no longer just a fan hobby, but became a genuine investment and speculation market. Since 2020, there has even been a subreddit called Poke Investing, where more than 500,000 people discuss the best ways to make money from Pokémon cards. Since then, with practically every new set release, you see plenty of posts from disappointed fans who couldn't get anything because everything had already been bought up. Some retailers have taken countermeasures and limit how many card packs customers can buy, while one retailer in Japan even cuts open the card packs immediately, so they lose value and cannot be resold. The whole situation has become absurd, and it has persisted now for many years, with no major improvements in sight. The trading cards themselves can actually fetch extremely high prices. The very old cards in particular are worth a fortune today, and the most famous example is probably Charizard. A perfectly preserved base set Charizard has been sold multiple times for several $100,000, meaning Pokémon cards can indeed work as an investment strategy. What matters most is that the cards are in perfect or near perfect condition, since otherwise they lose a huge amount of value. To determine a card's condition, they can be sent to various companies that, for a fee, evaluate and grade them, essentially establishing their market value. For heavily limited cards, such as the Pikachu Illustrator card, the value can even escalate into the tens of millions. Many scalpers therefore hope that the sets they buy cheaply today will be worth a fortune in 10 to 20 years from now. Others, meanwhile, immediately resell them at higher prices in order to make a quick profit. Particularly painful for the fan community is the fact that promotions, originally intended for children and families, are completely ruined by the greed of speculators. In September 2023, for example, a collaboration between Pokémon and the Gogh Museum in Amsterdam took place. To celebrate the museum's 50th anniversary and to perhaps teach people about art who would usually not be very interested in it, the exclusive Pikachu with grey felt hat promo card was created. The card was based on Van Gogh's famous self-portrait and was therefore perfectly suited for the museum's anniversary. Museum visitors apparently received the card for free after their visit, and it was limited to 1 copy per person. As soon as the collaboration started and the museum opened, it was overrun by aggressive collectors and resellers who were trying to get their hands on any kind of merchandise they could resell at higher prices. They even harassed normal museum visitors at the entrance in attempts to buy their cards from them. After the card started appearing on eBay for several $100s and also caused major trouble inside the museum, distribution was stopped after just 2 weeks for safety reasons. Nowadays, the card seems to sell for several $1,000s, meaning its value has increased dramatically since then. But that's not even the craziest part. Afterwards, 4 museum employees were fired because they had, among other things, stolen cards and resold them. One of them had even worked there for 25 years. People quite literally threw away their jobs just to make a quick profit. The original mission of teaching people about art ultimately turned into chaos and frustration. And this is even happening in Pokemon's country of origin, Japan. For example, in August 2025, limited Pokemon cards and Pikachu figures were included in McDonald's Happy Meals as part of a promotional campaign. A promotion explicitly intended for children was ruined by resellers. The Scalpers used the McDonald's app to mass purchase meals in order to get the Pokemon cards. But since they were only interested in the cards themselves, they threw away the food in huge quantities around the restaurants. It was a total waste of food. Pictures of the discarded food caused a major scandal in Japan, and it breaks my heart to see things like that. McDonald's Japan had to end the campaign early after only a few days, and also introduced a limit on how many meals a customer can order. As you can see, over the past 6 years, the whole situation has really escalated, and it feels like the hobby has become barely enjoyable for fans anymore because investors want to profit from every piece of merchandise. Aside from the fact that situations like these are incredibly annoying for fans, in some cases they also have very ugly consequences. Because not every situation ends harmlessly. There have been several cases in which this innocent collecting hobby turned into a security threat and people were injured. All because of trading cards and the hope of making big profits. And the situation seems to be getting even worse. For several weeks now, social media has increasingly been filled with posts from the classic crypto bros, who now seem to be moving to Pokemon cards. You can even read about people selling their stocks and cryptocurrencies just to heavily invest in Pokemon cards instead. Pokemon cards have become such a strong investment that people are abandoning their other investments because they see better opportunities here. These kinds of people have no interest in Pokemon, have probably never played any of the games, and are entirely focused on money. Some of them are apparently even well-known scammers, hoping to scam even more people this way. The most absurd thing is that I sometimes read comments saying that a new set is bad simply because it has a lower resale value. At this point, the whole thing has very little to do with the actual purpose of the trading card game anymore. And by now, it's not just about trading cards, but many other Pokemon collectibles as well. People even stole Pokemon cutouts from Target and successfully resold them multiple times for up to $900. To be fair, if you're buying that, then you may be part of the problem too. But of course, all of this has not gone unnoticed. The Pokemon Company is aware of the problem and has publicly stated multiple times that they are working at full speed to produce more products in order to meet the enormous demand. In their own stores, purchase quantities are also limited, to give as many fans as possible a chance to get the cards. Ultimately, the situation surrounding the Pokemon Trading Card Game has become genuinely absurd since 2020. The hobby has become barely enjoyable for fans anymore because greedy scalpers want to profit off of everything. Entire stocks are sometimes being bought up immediately and resold, while actual fans are left empty-handed. And I especially feel bad for the children who are being robbed of a part of their childhood because of this. All because of profit and greed. It's just sad.